everybody. So, welcome to my Marketing Monday Lives. Thank you so much for tuning in with me. It is 8 p.m. right now on a Monday. And as you guys know, when I do my Marketing Lives, it is so that way I can have a conversation with you guys one-on-one about the next best marketing tips. All right, so we're going to dive into what today's topic is ultimately going to be about. All right, so as you guys may already see on the title, it says how to market a successful pole show. Okay, so for some of you, you already know that I film and I record and I edit pole shows, dance events, dance workshops, like a variety of things that are in the dance entertainment world. So with that being stated, I also have some type of insight on what requires to have a successful show. Some shows I've been a part of have been really, really successful, and then some of them may not have been as successful depending on who you're asking and what perspective you may have. So today is going to be a very special day just because of the fact that I will have somebody on here with me who will be going live with me, and I will call them on here in a minute. And what we'll do now to get started is, as people roll in, let them know what we're doing. Hey Nuba, thank you so much for joining in. You would definitely want to see what this live is going to be about. I got a special guest coming in, so definitely make sure that if you have any questions or anything else we're talking, that you will definitely also ask those questions in the live as well. Okay, and then I will. All right, so now. All right, so since I have been doing my own filming and have been being media, I again have seen a lot of different things. So my intention for this live is so that you guys can get a further insight on what it takes to really have a successful pole show. As we know now, pole shows are not only popping up left and right, but it are different locations, different studios, different cities, and not everybody has the same ideas of what it takes to actually make it successful. In the term of being successful would be probably sold out, having people being talked about, the anticipation before the show even takes place, tickets just having to be added on because the tickets that were already limited are already been bought altogether. It's a variety of things, okay? So I want you guys to be able to take all the information I'm giving you tonight and try to utilize it to see if this is something that you want to be a part of. And if you are already a part of this, how you yourself can also tap in to learn more, to also stretch out what you already do, but do it on a different level so that you can see the success that you truly desire. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and allow our guest to come in tonight. All right. Nuba says I'm being nosy. Good. That's fine. Okay. So our guest tonight is actually going to be Jada from Lush Escapades Review. All right. So let me go ahead and let her in, and then we're going to introduce her. So let's see. Is she in? Is she here? Can she hear me?
I'm here.
All right, she's here. Make sure I adjust my camera. Oh. All right, so we have Jada Pearl on here with us. How are you doing today, love?
I am quite excited because, again, when it comes to this particular topic and anything dance related, it makes me happy. But the marketing aspect is really like, ugh, yes, it's bae. So, yeah. Hi, Nuba. How are you?
So if you know anybody that would possibly need some intel or want to be on this live, please make sure that you are sharing it with them as well, just so that way they can tune in. I will try to have a recap after this, but it's always best to try to get in here while we're doing this live so you guys can really get the energy and the vibes and ask any questions you might already have. All right, so I already can introduce you, and I've been introduced you before, so I'm going to let you do your thing so that people know from your mouth who you are, what you do, and why you should even be a part of this conversation.
Ooh, so much Pressure. Oh my gosh. I feel like I introduced myself through my movement and how I operate. Because I've always been a person that you can hear me say, like, oh, I'm this, I'm that, I do this, I do that. But I also want my actions to really be the things that speaks for me.
Mm-hmm.
And clearly that's not the case as of right now. So, um, I am Jada LaPearl. I'm gonna try not to be shy. I am a Georgia girl. I've been living in Georgia all of my life. I've been living in the Atlanta area for the last 10 years. I have been a dancer since 2017. I've been an instructor since 2019. And June of next year will make 3 years that I have been the owner of Lush Escapades. It was created back in 2023 where I saw there was a need for a platform specifically for curvy bodies. I say curvy bodies because you don't necessarily have to be a woman anatomically and such in order to be a part of my showcases. Simply because of the fact that at the end of the day, if you have a curvy body and you have, of course, talent, boom bada busted. You feel me? You shy? Where? I am. I have moments. Cause I'm Jada, but I'm in work Jada mode. But when I'm in performance mode, yeah, I'm not shy. But
Ego.
cause it's different. Cause it's different when I talk.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that is the main thing when it comes to my showcases is that it is for all curvy bodies. And I created it simply because there was not anyone that had anything here in Georgia specifically. If they did, it would be more on the lines of like a one-nighter type thing or specifically the fetishizing of BBW. Don't get me wrong. Whether I were to center my show around specifically BBW or not, the fetish still exists, but I wanted to showcase more than just the sex appeal of a plus size body. I wanted to see the talent. I wanted to see the creativity, the art at hand when it comes to Lush. And being able to also not just see it in Georgia, being able to travel it elsewhere because of the fact that there's other curvy bodies that probably are not being showcased as much as they should be. They're probably in spaces that don't know that their community is out there as heavy as it really is, because it really is out there. It's just a matter of you being able to tap in, and that's what I wanted to do when it came to Lush. Hence why, for me, when I had my first showcase, I took it to Texas. I didn't take it home first. I felt like, let me start over somewhere else. And I ain't never been before because I knew that the community was there. And that was the success that we made it to be at the time. And then it just grew. Because when I brought it home afterwards, oh yeah, that really, of course, solidified like, yeah, we really like this. And so far, we have had 5 showcases between Georgia, North Carolina, Texas, and Cali. I've been to Cali. So yeah, I love Lush. I love what it has done for people. I love that it has been able to connect people in more ways than one. I love that people anticipated and being able to have a really awesome opportunity and experience from it. Um, I just enjoy it. I have the that place of it that it makes me happy because I get to connect with some really awesome ass people. And I just want to continue building on that with year 3 as it's coming up and all the things and goodies that comes along with it. So yeah, that's just me.
Okay. And keep in mind, of course, I already know these things is because we work together a lot when it comes to
Hmm.
these shows,
Yeah.
right? So it's safe to say that putting together a pole show, especially now, you just did 5, you're on year 3, is not for the faint at heart. Like it's not for the weak, right?
Mm-mm.
And
Mm.
it it definitely takes more than just having an idea of saying, hey, you know what, I want to put a show together. Let's go ahead and do it. We'll put something together in the next 2 months and it be successful as it can be. And it goes with pretty much any other event. But because the fact that we are in this niche of pole performers, it's a different type of je ne sais quoi that we need to have so that way it is a true success and the definition of what a success would be. So granted, I know we have our lineup of what we want, but we're gonna get into, of course, those bullets. But my question to you is, what do you deem to be a successful pole show? What makes a pole show successful?
Integrity, first off. I feel like if you don't have a certain level of heart in it, you don't need to be doing it. And really seeing the success based off of the people and not what you think you should be getting out of it so much. And I say getting out of it from a perspective of, please do not go in this thinking you about to go and be rich and profit immediately. Usually with the first couple, that is not the case at all. If you're trying, excuse me, oh Jesus, my bad. If you're trying to go in with this headspace of money, 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 don't do that. Okay? Don't do that. And the reason why I say that is because unless you were one of them people that just got buku money just like that and you just all happy willy-nilly with it, then cool. But you have to go in with this headspace of, I'm doing this for the people, regardless, of course, how it turns out. Granted, you don't want to be in the red, but you definitely want to make sure that you're not in this place of, oh, it wasn't a success. I didn't make no money. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. Like, did you make sure everything was good on the back end? Is everybody comfortable? Does everybody feel like they're in a safe space? Were they able to, of course, put on a good show without any too much hoopla going on that's distracting them? And now they're not in the place to be able to really say, I had a wonderful time performing. You understand?
Right.
Like, that's the type of stuff I feel. So I feel like the integrity aspect is the biggest thing before we even get into the marketing aspect and all the other things that really goes into making it successful. But after integrity, the marketing is bae. For sure, for sure.
Yes. Okay. So thank you for that, because I think a lot of people really misinterpret that it does go beyond just, of course, having your numbers as far as followers. It does go beyond of just being extra flashy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if people can't come out of your show and say, you know what, they really did a great job in not only marketing and promoting it, but they did a great job in ensuring that people felt safe, that people
Mm-hmm.
felt like this was something that they can do in the long run, that they can take with them and go and tell their friends about it to want to come to it later, and not and this is like ultimately that place to be and something to look forward to. It can break or make a show ultimately.
Yes.
Right. So I'm glad that you did mention that versus being what we normally see, the flashiness, which we know grabs attention. It do what it do, but at the end
Mm-hmm.
of the day, what are you going to do to hold that attention? And when it comes
Mm-hmm.
to, of course, getting into the marketing aspect, but ultimately giving somebody something more substance, right?
Yes.
So we're gonna go over the points that we're gonna talk about this evening,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're gonna go in depth. All right. So the first thing that we definitely want to address, and this might seem like small to some people, but at the end of the day, is very important. It is the eye-catching flyer. Okay. 2 is posting everywhere. Okay, not limiting yourself to one platform.
Mm-hmm.
3, promoting more, posting more to promote the poll show. Okay, so that's like 2 different aspects. You got, of course, posting everywhere and then posting more. Getting your domain for your website or a place to sell your tickets. Okay, we'll talk about that as well. Being a walking billboard. All right, Jada talks about this a lot with a lot of different performers and a lot of different, and she's nodding, yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important. We're going to explain what that means as well. Okay, and then of course, if you plan on hosting shows, whether that be seasonally, quarterly, whatever that may be, whatever your frequency is, what are you going to do in between those months from the last show to the next show to keep not only yourself relevant, but also to ensure that the vibes, the energy, the anticipation is still there So you're not, for one, depending on everything that you're doing on just those shows, when you could be doing other things to help lead up to that. Because keep in mind, running a show is expensive. This is not, no, let me put $200 here and let that be that. It is expensive.
I wish.
Okay? So if you're not prepared to do that, and you're not preparing to do that, and then when those down months, that show is going to be hell and high water to push. And you know the things we have done to get 1 or 2 shows to make sure that it was running successfully. Okay? And we've learned to not do those things anymore. So it's trial and error, but if you don't learn from them errors, it's not going to happen for you. Okay? So let's go ahead and jump right into the first one, the eye-catching flyer. Okay? It's simple. It's simple, but again, it's powerful. How is somebody going to know to come to an event if you don't have the visual, even if it's just a still image of what that event is going to be? How can somebody say, you know what, I want to book or go to this said event because I see what this flyer looks like. I see what this person is going to be at this flyer in this particular event, and be able to anticipate what that would look like, right? So, Jada, go ahead and jump in and give me your perspective. Keep in mind, I have my marketing perspective, but she also has her event creator perspective, and this is where the two tie in together.
Hi, Cherry J. I love and adore you. Looking forward to coming back to Cali. Just putting that out there. So when it comes to that flyer, who's Jesus? It is one of those things where I had to learn, one, do not try or even appear to look like someone else's flyer. Because I've run into a situation where someone assumed I was taking a flyer. That was not the case at all. And having to really be like, okay, let me do a switcheroo so that I'm not trying to appear like somebody else. Granted, we all use Canva. We, of course, might use outsources like Fiverr to create them, depending on the nature of the flyer, because most of the time, my stuff is very, very essential, very, very sexy. So Fiverr might be like, no, we can't do that. So I've had to learn myself to really play with flyers and templates to kind of see like, okay, I can do this. This looks right. And I'm also considering the theme. If you have a particular theme that you're trying to go for so that people have an idea of what to expect for your show. All right, cool. Kind of get the color gradings and fonts and things of that nature. Just to be able to make sure that it's in a good lighting, as well as the description of where your show's gonna be at. Sometimes you can put a time of like in, like start and end. I don't think I do that because I try to keep it at 3 hours, but I'm just like, it's gonna start at this time. And I know we're gonna be done before 12 o'clock. I just know that much. Okay. And let the people really know, like, yo, there's some ass gonna be here. Bring ones. Or hey, this is going to be, blues theme. It's going to be cosplay. It's going to be costumes. It's going to be, Valentine theme. Like, really let people have an idea of it. And then if it's something that, say it's like from a movie or from an album, like play into that when it comes to the flyer and concepts. Like concepts from the place of, okay, maybe we're going to segue into the caption. Maybe we're going to do a little bit of a visual to it so that people kind of have an idea of what to expect. Like really go there versus boom, this is what we're doing. Show up. That don't feel appealing at all. Let me see what Cherry said. I've had folks actually use a flyer to edit a piece of it to use for their own. Now see, that's just trifling. That's trifling as hell.
I'm like, unless she's licensing them out, like
it's too many templates out there. They could have just used their own, bro. It's too many.
It is.
It's too many. Like, don't get me wrong. I want you to get a template, and hopefully, if it's one of those already made, at least change the font and the color so it don't look like it's just the one from the manufacturer. At least switch it up so it look like yours. You understand? They could at least did that.
Because you got so many people to where they might think like you, but like, you know what, this template is cool, I'm not gonna change anything. Then you got 3 other people that did the same thing. Now
Baby,
y'all like got the same show. So
baby, when I try to sing that so many times, like, ugh.
it
You
makes a
didn't want to put
difference.
no effort into it, huh?
It makes it. You have to find a way to stand out. You have to find a way to use your own creativity. And keep in mind, bro, it's not that difficult now, today's age, because there is AI. You can really ask your ChatGPT. I'm about to give you guys the ChatGPT of my my ChatGPT's name, because I call him Saul, right? You can ask your ChatGPT, like, yo, this is my theme. This is what I want to do. What is an idea that I can create when it comes to my flyer? And they will break it down for you. Like, it doesn't have to be really hard to do. And again, back then, like years ago, this would have been more difficult. You would have had to hire a graphic designer. You know what I mean? So now you don't have to do that as much. So that's the beauty of understanding your resources and how you can really make things happen today and still stand out. Still stand out. You got Canva, you got your ChatGPT, you got Bing Image Creator. I still use that from time to time. You can use that to create your own stock images when it comes to background stuff, and then input that into Canva. Like, put a bunch of different things at one time together to still make it stand out. So that way, for one, nobody's going to say, hey, you know what, you stole my idea. No, I didn't. I created this on my own, even if it's through AI. You can't duplicate that, right? Same thing where they can't be vice versa, right? Or you can't replicate somebody else's. So it is really utilizing them resources. I seen somewhere the pole therapist just said, stop using them stock photos. You can literally be the face of your own flyer, people. Set up a photo shoot. It doesn't have to, you don't have to do a photo shoot. Get a friend that got a good camera on their phone, take pictures.
See them guns I'm throwing out? Because that's true. Yes.
They don't have to be extra expensive or extra complicated at all.
They don't. They do not at all. So
right.
Yes, but proper planning and advertising is very much key. It's not something that you need to rush. As long as you know ahead of time, I have this show coming up, boom, boom, boom. Plan it properly. Same thing when it comes to the flyer itself. Like, really go into that deep dive. Like, the show's coming. All right, bet. Put your effort into the little stuff. Keep in mind, the stuff we're talking about is little stuff. We ain't even talking about the stuff that pertains to running the showcases. So, baby, that's a whole different conversation, which I actually will be talking about in my next podcast episode. So, get into that later. Yes. But yeah, so the stuff that we're talking about is really you can say little appetizers to kind of get into it. You need your forks and your spoons, your napkins, your dinner fork, all them things, your salad fork. That's what all this is.
It is, though.
And in order to be able to make sure that all those things are like properly in place, that way you can have your meat and potatoes, you can have your big main dish, and you can have, of course, a dessert and your what have you. So making sure that all that's laid out, and then you can add on to it so that it can flourish and have a nice old nightcap at the end.
And be happy and satisfied.
Yes.
That's all we want. We want y'all to be happy and satisfied.
So yes. Okay. Having your flyer is a big deal if you're really wanting more eyes on it, for sure, and for people to know about it. Now, that's just the flyer. Did you want to add anything more to that?
Oh, well, actually, that goes right into the next one. Because, the next one is going to be posting it everywhere. It's not limiting yourself to one platform. All right. I've had somebody, and this doesn't have to be going into in-depth, but it does give you some insight of what should possibly not do, where they were trying to have their event be seen, but they were only stuck with Instagram. And their biggest thing was, I just want to post on Instagram. That's all I know. I don't want to do anything else. Let me just stay right here. And I was like, well, I hear you, but you really got all these other platforms. Your audience is not just only using Instagram. You can really go in other places. But because they only stuck on that one platform, their reach was very limited. So I feel like a lot of people really need to understand, when we say post on more than one platform, it is not for you to have to go and create new content for those other platforms. I am the queen of repurposing, okay? I have nothing against taking the same video I'm making right here, posting it on TikTok, posting it on YouTube Shorts, posting it on Twitter. Like, I'm gonna put them all on the same thing I just created. I'm gonna put them all on those networks because you never know who's gonna see it. You never know. So if I'm just staying with those Instagram, I'm missing out on a lot of people. On a lot of people. All right. So, and I, of course, tap in whenever you feel necessary as well, Jada, too. So that way, because I do want your perspective on that. Because I know, of course, for my marketing, what that looks like. But when it comes to you, what has been the most beneficial when you are going from one platform to the other? How has that helped you when it comes to promoting your shows?
Well, I had to come to the realization about something a few days ago. I was talking with a friend pertaining to a certain type of class that she wanted to take. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, yeah, well, you can take it by, this particular person. She was like, who's that? Keep in mind, I know of the person. A great big of people know this person because she's really wonderful in the dance community. She's traveled. She has done tours. She has a production space here in Atlanta and has done a lot of different things for quite some time. And even still, some people here do not know of this woman. And it then made me realize, like, dang, even though you might be well known, have this large following, everybody still don't know you. So then that put me in the perspective of, I have followers that are on Facebook, that are not on Instagram, that are not on TikTok, that are not on my personal Facebook for that matter. I need to post everywhere because they don't necessarily always cross when it comes to likes. So just because I post on IG, that does not mean all of my people are just going to come from IG. They may be coming from Facebook. They may be coming from TikTok, not because I posted a flyer, but because I posted a video, and they're just like, oh, I see what she's doing. Where's her site? Where's other places she's at? Let me go try to find her, this, that, and the third. And then happen to find out through that funnel, through that, okay, what else is she doing? Let me Google her. Let me do this, that, and the third, because that puts more visibility. So that's like an SEO situation. That's oh, she might have a viral video. That's oh, she ends up in my Explore or For You page. Yep. It's a whole lot of different ways, but it still goes back on everybody don't know the same shit. So please put that out there so people can be in the know, so they can be able to see what you're doing, so they can be able to be intrigued by what's the next thing happening. And then if you post some stuff in your stories and snaps and everything in between, you're going to have some intriguing eyes, especially if you're doing it on a pretty regular basis. So that has been my biggest thing, is that I still need to get people to know about Lush Escapades. A nice chunk of folks already do know, and I'm thankful for them in more ways than one. But I still got work to do. I still need people to, of course, go in these other spaces and be like, oh, okay, that's Lush. Oh, okay, that's a Jada thing. Oh, okay, boom, they go into this. Oh, what's Lush this? What's that? Curvy, bad bitches in a room. Oh, yeah, I need to be there.
That rabbit hole.
I need that.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta have that. So therefore, I'm going to continue promoting in a way that's going to continue that wave. And when people reshare stuff, baby, when I tell you, that thing be making me so happy because of the fact that they fuck with it too. So it's on some, I need to let more people know about it and know that this is something that I really want you to be a part of, and it's something that you can really like vibe with. So that has been my biggest, is understanding that more people need to know about me. No matter how big Lush can get, I still need more eyes on it.
Absolutely. So Cherry says she feel like we need to be selling this info.
I saw that too.
Say they're gonna have their own, which is, it's just cool, but at the end of the day, everybody ain't gonna have your sauce.
And baby, and then we gonna get into some more details while we say doing the showcase is not for the faint-hearted. Cherry, because baby, y'all be having them, and they be having some bomb ass shows over there in Cali. You feel me? So yeah, it's not something that you just like, all right, cool, we're gonna do a thing and you just gonna make it happen. No. And in Cherry's case, they have them quite often. So you talking about on a frequency level of maybe once a month, maybe once every 2 months type thing.
Wow.
And throughout the year, yeah, Cherry and Lil Sum, they don't play. They don't play when it comes to
That's a
those.
full time job right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But y'all, but they do it so wonderfully though. Just from the advertising alone and the themes be so fire. Like that's definitely someone that is fire when it comes to their stuff for sure. But for somebody that don't do it often or in the midst of thinking about doing it, yeah, it's a checklist that you need to really consider when it comes to that. I can agree when it comes to the selling of the info, but it still goes back to that integrity having to be in place when it comes to. So,
Yeah. Oh,
so
yeah.
yeah.
At the end of the day, right before we get to this next point,
Mm-hmm.
if we can give this all of this away for free, most of the time people ain't gonna use it still. They still gonna
Mm-hmm.
say it's hard. They still gonna have an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're really in it and you really want to be about it, you're gonna make it happen one way or another.
That
So
part.
that's how I see that. But I definitely
Yes.
do agree as well. I'm trying
Mm-hmm.
to charge for all the high end information. Okay. So going into the next one because it does connect. So we saying of course posting on all the platforms, more than one. Okay. Hey Etha, how you doing, love? And now it's going into also posting consistently, okay? Because we get it. It's a lot. Sometimes you get fatigue when it comes to being a creator. You get tired of posting all the time. But I think there's a two-flip mindset when it comes to what you're promoting. In this case, for me, when it comes to me just posting as a creator versus me posting as somebody who has an event coming up, right? When I am posting as a creator, it is definitely based on my creativity. I have to make sure I have the ideas, I have the scripts, I have to put the work in, I edit, right? But then when it comes to posting for an event, my mind is different. Is as in, I need these tickets sold. There is nothing I can't feel sad and mad and one day and then be like, I'm not posting nothing today. That's me missing out on money, whatever that may look like, especially when it comes to a business or a brand. So I have to automatically make it happen and just post or have it on a regular schedule to make it do what it do. Even if I'm posting the same thing, you might be annoying to some people, but who cares? Because that person might be annoyed, but tell the people behind them who ain't seen the same flyer now has seen it. You know what I'm saying? So it could
Mm-hmm.
go beyond just how you're feeling in that moment. It is
Mm-hmm.
ultimately being consistent and doing it as often as you possibly can. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
What's your take on that, Jada?
If you are someone that's not the biggest on posting already when it comes to your personal social media, it ain't really your thing, this, that, and the third. If you trying to have a showcase, you gonna have to make it your thing. Because you cannot just post one thing and then just expect the mass to just come through. Okay? That's number one. Number two, you also, if you happen to say have performers, you cannot primarily require your performers to be the one to promote this showcase so heavily, and you are the producer, you are the creator, the event host, and you're not posting as much as they are. If anything, hell, you need to be posting way more.
Yes.
Way more. And again, going back to different places of where you're posting, because their reach is their reach. Your reach is your reach. Both together makes a very beautiful time. But please don't get
Mm-hmm.
it twisted. You still need to do your part as the creator. You still need to be able to get out of that shell of, oh, well, I can't do such and such. You're going to have to do it. Now, one thing Cherry did mention, and I do understand because that shit can be concerning, being scared of lack of engagement and not knowing what to post and also getting deleted again. Because of the field we in when it comes to this damn shit, we get worried about being shadow banned, being deleted, limited, pages taken down. I've seen people's pages taken down in the middle of them trying to get a showcase pop.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's insane. Like, people really just butthurt about you wanting to just put on some awesome ass shit with some wonderful people and just talented stuff. So I understand that completely. It's one of those things where, because of the nature of your business, you may have to have, of course, a backup page when it comes to those types of things, and have to do a little bit of a play-outs with wording. Like, for example, on Instagram, we know that there's some stuff we can get away with, and then there's some stuff that you've had to kind of like do trial and error to figure out, okay, I can't do this, but there's going to be a workaround. People have been doing it all the time. Hence, there's some people who have literally have had page after page after page after page and still making some shit happen and still being able to, of course, get the reach that they need. So it goes off of, it's scary, I know, but if you really want to do this, we got to make it happen. We got to be able to, of course, do that. Now, when it comes to somebody that may not necessarily be the best when it comes to posting, however, they can possibly invest in someone who's a social media manager or someone who can do like a virtual assistant and do the posting for them on that regular needed basis to get the word out about said showcase. If you have the funds to do that, I recommend you investing. Don't be out here using people and you ain't gonna value, of course, their time and effort in putting your shit together because it's still your shit. So I definitely recommend that if that's not your ish. Otherwise, please post heavy and make it a thing to do so. That way you can't say, oh, it's not going to be successful because this is this and nobody really knows about it. It all depends on what you put into it at the end of the day. If you're not putting a whole lot into it, you cannot expect a whole lot out of it. Now, keep in mind, there's studio showcases and then there's you yourself coming out the woodworks doing your own showcase. Most studio showcases, for the most part, they do pretty well simply because, they ain't got to worry about rentals and, they probably have low ticket prices and they already, they have their show, their studio. People know about them. They're going to come to that. That's understandable. They can do that. They don't have to post as much sometimes and people going to show up word of mouth. But when it comes to you from scratch, oh, baby, they got to know about you. So you got to do the things. You got to put in the work. You got to put in the effort when it comes to that. Simply because you're coming out of this place of, okay, people are doing showcases. How am I going to stand out? How am I going to be that person that people see? All right, what is this that they're doing that's different from everybody else in that way? Or what is it about them that makes me say, I want to come to this particular showcase? Is these just the same bodies, this, that, and the third? Like, what's going to stand you out? Mm-hmm. So going back to the flyer, going back to how often you're posting and where, of course, you're posting. All those things, of course, all go together. So, yes, that's my take on that for sure.
Baby doll said post scared and post consistently. They're still working on it, but yeah, that's usually what it takes. And then eventually you'll get over that scared feeling because you'll get to a point where you just don't care how people are gonna receive it. You need it to be out there. It's almost like that calling of, I really have this intention of what I want people to see, and I know people gonna talk shit. Let me go ahead and make it happen anyway, because somebody else might receive it and they might be inspired. They might be like, hey, I really need you to see that, because it could go beyond how you're personally feeling in that moment. So
that part,
yes,
that part, yes.
So now the next part, which I personally like because I used to be a web developer. So when it comes to where to sell these said tickets, right? Having a website, having a domain. Now everybody doesn't necessarily have to have a .com, but if you are able to purchase one nowadays, they are actually for a while they haven't been very expensive to get a domain. You can get one for GoDaddy for pretty cheap, like maybe $10 the first year. You can get one or Ionos is also good for like 99 cents for the domain, right, for the first year. And then you work on it from there, whether you get web hosting, the technical stuff, right? But if you're like, yo, I'm not trying to do all that. I just want to sell these tickets, get you a Square account, okay, get you an Eventbrite link, and that can help you get started. Now, be prepared to understand fees. When you are talking about ticket sales, everybody want their cut. If you're not selling off your own site directly and you're not having your payment platform already set up to where you keep all of your amounts, then you're going to be prepared to have to set up and pay some fees out. So this is where you have to determine how to also mark your tickets. Mm-hmm. Jada. Mm-hmm. Your turn.
Oh,
when it comes to you putting them ticket prices up, how do you determine? And of course, where do you normally sell yours at so people can purchase them?
Whew. Well, I'm not too much of a gatekeeper when it comes down to this stuff because at the end of the day, the stuff I'm doing is practically free anyway. So I'm not gonna be like, oh, well, I don't need you to know what I'm doing. Bitch, if you don't use what you need to use so that you can get what you need to get and get the hell on. So Square is definitely the site that I currently use. I've attempted to use others. I feel like it's the most feasible for me, feasible from a place of I'm not necessarily being charged to use Square, but I do get the transaction fee for when people pay for their tickets and that it goes into, of course, my bank account. That's normal stuff. When it comes to the pricing of the tickets, I've tried doing like, your general admission, your VIP. VIP mostly because of the fact that, hey, they probably want to definitely, of course, get a good old show in. They want to be able to get all the extra little oohs and ahs. Then I did that thing, I think one time. After that, I was like, let me just do general admission. Be general all the way. And keep in mind, that's a me thing. And the reason being is because I personally just enjoy a good old horseshoe crescent moon situation. You better get in where you fit in. This is gonna be the same price, boom, bada bust it. Okay. Only difference of price would be is if I have my drinks, and if you've been to my shows, you've had one of my drinks. I have my drinks included so that you can already have one and purchase. But of course, if you don't get the drink with the drink purchase prior, you can always buy a drink when you get there. That's really the only price difference for me personally. Aside from that, I try to keep it relatively simple so that it's not a big headache for me. The only difference that might show up is someone might get, say if I run a sale, like I might decide like, okay, cool, let me run like a little 2-for-1 sale situation or like a bestie ticket situation, something like that. That'll be the only thing. That way it's not so many different tiers going on and people might be confused. My folks is at the door doing it. I try to not have it to where it's so much of a guessing game for them when it comes to checking in people and whatnot. So that way it's simplified. So keeping it simplified so that I'm not running crazy. And for the people that say if their front seat is like a VIP, granted, you ain't paid for VIP, your ass shouldn't be up there. When stuff was moving around, people be sitting and trying shit. So it's just like, look, if this price is the same, you can sit wherever. But if you miss that front seat, you miss that front seat. I had told you the time on the flyer, so get your ass, so you can go ahead and see this ass front center. Understand? So I keep it simplified just so that it is a equal opportunity for everybody. Prices, the price range, I go off of typically, it depends on sometimes the state. If the state is a place that might relatively be in a higher place, usually based off of the studio, as far as what I had to put into the investment, which is a whole different ballgame, then it might kind of reflect off of that. But I try my best to not make it no high-end ass price if I'm not giving you an experience that meets that price point. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Like, it has to go hand in hand when it comes to the pricing, for real, for real. Like, if I'm giving you a whole bunch of shit for the free or for the whatever included, all right, cool. But if I'm not doing that, I'd rather the rest of that money go into my dancers and you throw that money at them versus trying to give it to me in the ticket sale. Again, I care about my dancers being able to make, whatever they can and have a good time. But of course, me take care of the back end type shit. Yep. But that's me.
Jerry says she had a website that actually helps her get the high-paying gigs. All right, and that's something that a lot of people, because this is where I feel like it makes a difference on how you want to present yourself, even after the show, right? Because after the show is done, the Square link is dead, right? And if you don't have a website, people can see what they have missed. So, for example, Let's Just Capes has a website. She has a .com. And that'll be like a recap of the last show. And it'll be another tab up there where you can see the gallery of the past shows, right? So those types of things make a difference because if you decide to take it, this is probably a little extra information for y'all, but if you decide to take it behind or beyond what you do when it comes to shows, and you want to have brand collaborations or another event coordinators come try and put something together, they need to see what you've been doing beyond Instagram. You know, so this is where having that site will come into play, and it will definitely help you stretch it out. But again, that's for down the line. If you have been doing this for a while and you're ready to, of course, make those types of moves, you know. But just to keep that in mind, that websites are not dead. Ultimately, I know people say people aren't using them as much. That's a lie. People are really still looking for that, because at the end of the day, that is still your personal brand. If Instagram, everybody decides to say kaput, that's still you. Okay.
Yes.
So the next one, I want you to go ahead and you take this up, because of how you have been talking about this to everybody that I know when it comes to being a performer, people who do their own shows. What does it mean to be a walking billboard? Because we see you. We know you're a walking billboard when it comes to what you do, right? So how would you explain to somebody else who's saying, hey, I want to put a show together, but I don't want to myself be put out there because I just want to be focused on my other dancers, but they need people to come to the show. So how would you go about explaining that to them?
Get your ass out there and quit playing with me. And the reason being is because I had that very exact thing told to me some years ago by my pole mama. And she was at her place of putting out her brand. And she, of course, has her students and such, and she's training them and whatnot. And she usually has always said she wants to be the person that's she wants to be the coach. She can just tell you what to do and you go out there and do the things and whatnot, which is cool. But even the coach had to go in to learn some plays initially before they can be able to teach the motherfuckers. You understand? Yep. So in her case, I was like, yo, you actually need to be a walking billboard, because your brand is going to be that thing that says if they see you, oh, so this is what her dancers be doing. Oh, so this is the type of stuff that she be on. This is what I should be expecting when I go to her showcase or anything that she has her name on. So I made it a thing for her to put yourself out there. We, Atlanta, of course, have plenty of places you can be able to do showcases at. And then we also are near Florida, Alabama, the Carolinas. If you are a person who is able to travel every once in a while, go to these other locations and have people know about your said brand if you know that you want more eyes on your business. Now, granted, this is something you would have to do in between showcase time. You clearly can't do it close in between trying to, scramble up. It would have to be a pre-planning for something like that. But making that something you do year round, really, even if it's just like 2 or 3 showcases here and there. Whenever you go to these spaces, and of course, most showcases, they're going to do a quick bio. This is this person. She's the owner of this, 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 this. I've had people that I didn't even give them no bio, but they knew that's what I did. And so when they came up to me before it was time to perform, hey, we just want to make sure we want to include Lush Escapades in your bio when we introduce you, correct? I was like, you know about me? Well, yes, and make sure you let them know it's a curvy platform for performers, for curvy performers. Let them know. So people see that. And if you're being that person that is showing how you move and what you put in your your sets and things of that nature, people gravitate to that. So get your ass out there and perform while also being a event curator, because of the fact that that is going to put more eyes on your shows and what it is that you're doing. Because you know how that be. As soon as you get done performing, oh, I'm going to follow her. Da, 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 da. You were so wonderful. You were so great. Let me, of course, see what else you got going on. And then they'll probably announce it when you do your set or after your set, or you tell them business cards. Babe, when I tell we can get into this conversation about the marketing, I'm so serious.
It's so much.
Cards on me as well. So having that is really essential to do, so that it's like, one, I enjoy performing anywhere. So it's nothing for me to do that. And plus, I enjoy being able to connect with other studio spaces and support other people whenever I can be able to go see them, and having that potential collaboration with said other studio owners and such, especially if they happen to be in the curvy community. It's like, hey, I'm dancing for you. How about you come dance for my showcase? And having that exchange, you know what I'm saying? Like, all that stuff adds up. when you work it, when you truly work it. So getting out there, doing of course showcases. So like I said, I enjoy doing this, but I also have a certain tactic of why I do it as well too. So being a walking billboard is important when it comes to having said showcases. Now, I hope that you would be a performer if you're wanting to have said showcases. You may not be a performer that has these showcases. In your situation, you need to just be talking about what it is that you do. Going back to the integrity aspect, talk about what it is that you do. Let the people know, hey, I have the showcase coming about. These dancers here that are really, really great. Woo, 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 woo. I have it at this venue coming up. Like getting that out there so that people know what's up beyond just social media. Because before social media, baby, there was word of mouth. There was newspaper ads. There was flyers. Do you understand? Like you still can do that. I still occasionally will make flyers that I can go put at the beauty supply store and at places that people can be able to know what it is I do, just because of the fact we're in that type of space where you still can do that. Because we don't know what be happening with these social media on platforms for real, for real. You see what happened with TikTok. And that whole little grouperoo and whatever have you, like you can still make it happen, but that it goes back out to you getting it out there and not having to stay behind a screen when it comes to what it is that you do. So that's my take on walking billboard.
My phone keeps trying to over here tell me at 20%. But we're gonna make it do it. We're gonna make it do what it do. But yes, it goes back into the offline promotion. Just because we are in that state of everything is online and internet is what it is, AI is coming in, does not mean it just removes what was still working back in the day. You can still do those same things. Because even when it came to Jada's earlier shows, that was exactly what we were doing. Like we was going, oh my God, just a quick tip for y'all was something that we did when it came to just collecting ones, right? For the show. Having to had physical flyers, and I'm going into in this Publix to get some ones while also handing out flyers. And I'm looking at people. So right, I'm looking, okay, he looked like he might like big girls. He looking like he might like this type. You know what I'm saying? Or if it's a plus size lady that's coming out, handing her a flyer. Because here's the thing. Even if people don't automatically go to that show in that particular day, in that particular show, they may still go, you know what, let me check this thing out. They may add you and follow you on social media. They may go in and say, hey, you know what? I did see this, but I wasn't sure if it was for me. But now that I'm really seeing what you guys do, I support it. I want to be a part of it, right? So this is where it's going to be one of those things too. You have to step outside of what you're normally used to doing and just go outside. When you pass the flyers out, go to different studios and have those conversations, because you never know how far they can actually go. Right? All right. So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to the last one. Well, I'll flip my phone over. It says repurpose content if you plan
before you do that. Let's just say charge your phone before live.
Look, it was charged. I just came back from being asleep.
And now the phone is facing the other way. Okay.
I got you.
Okay.
This way I can hit the button without having to get up. Just ratchet. Anyway. Okay. Man, this is live. The beauty of editing after the fact.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Lushy, so much for your input. So the very last one, okay, it is, if you plan on hosting shows, depending on what the frequency may be, what do you need to do to keep engagement for future shows? And that could be a number of things, like Jada said, going to perform other people's events, going to support other places. Some people, some shows you don't even have to perform at, just go to support, right? That could be enough, especially if you know somebody that has supported you. Reciprocation goes a long way. And even going to possibly taking classes, having conversations with different studio owners, building relationships, right? Mm-hmm. Networking is still a thing. You can still definitely go and do that. And not just on the pretense of course, oh, somebody's going to go support me and do this thing, but ultimately so that way you know that it is a relationship that you're building that rapport, right? And that can go further beyond just your show. It could go, you never know how far that can take, who that person may know, and what that reach can actually ultimately be for you. And of course, going into that thing genuinely, right? So, Jade, I'll let you close this out with this one before we get into the where they can find you and all of that, right?
Goes back to everybody does not know about you, so that you need to make sure that you're continuing to post. It kind of goes back into even something as simple as our personal pages. Say, for example, TikTok. We want to be able to get more eyes on the things that we do. We want to be able to have more engagement, all of that. Even for me, I still struggle with particularly TikTok. Other platforms, I'm pretty cool. I still struggle with TikTok from a place of, dang, I want more people to be able to see what I do. I'm not a person that's doing a lot of talking all the time like most people are usually doing. Because a couple years ago, you could be dancing, you could do a lot of really cool stuff, and now TikTok has really like shift just as an example when it comes to how you post anything really. However, this is where you have to, of course, if you care about this type of stuff, do your due diligence to kind of study to say, okay, how can I still get more eyes, even if it's not necessarily the flyer itself. So me probably posting something with dancing or something funny or what have you, letting that funnel over into, okay, where else is this lady at? My Linktree is on TikTok, as an example. So they go to Linktree, boom, they see all the showcases that I'm probably going to be doing, or they see, of course, Lush Escapades link, or they see my Instagram. They go to Instagram. They're going to run into my podcast, Instagram, Flow Up Her Lush, Lush Escapades. It's going to be one of the three. Okay? One of the three out of all of them, you're going to see in that bio, oh, this person has his other page, or it's run by this person. You're going to connect. Then you might happen to find me on Facebook. All of those means that, okay, cool. There's a connection. This lady be somewhere everywhere. Boom, boom, boom. That's number one. When it comes to the repurposing part, though, this is where everybody does not know about you, and everybody didn't see the flyer when you first posted. So you may have had one that did really well, and you're like, you know what, it's a throwback, let me go ahead and post some real quick because it's a Thursday, boom boom bada bus. Or from your previous showcase, because say in this case you've already had a showcase and you're like, I need more people to know, of course, what's going to be happening soon, or it's a good old Friday, it's a good old bum day on Sunday, so let me go ahead and post, boom 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 boom. Okay, repurposing puts eyes on it. Either they probably again didn't see it before, or they're just like, oh, I didn't see it from this angle, I like this, I like that, what is going on? Are they having another show? What's happening? What's the next thing taking place? Yada yada yada. It all goes back into that intent of, the purpose is, I need you to see what it is I do. I need you to see that this was an amazing show. I need you to see, of course, that you missed out on a great potential time. I need you to see that maybe you did have a good time, but you need to have another good time. You understand? Mostly out of the fact that if you're not a person that's not a one and done when it comes to these things, you need to let people know that you do this and you finna continue doing this, whether it's monthly, whether it's something you do, every 2 to 3 months, whether it is annually. Like, for sure, this is time of the year that you do this showcase, boom, bada, all right, cool. Letting the folks know in between. Don't be in this place of, you have a showcase, say, in the summer, and you do it, and then don't post really nothing pertaining to the showcase until like April the following year, when you had that whole year, the whole several months prior, to hone in on letting people know what it is that you do. You understand? That way, if you're worried about that engagement being low, you've been talking to the people. You've been doing the posting from every once in a while. I'm not saying you have to do it every single day, but I am saying that you need to be doing it for sure at least once a week, at least maybe twice a week, some stuff in your stories, something to be able to say, hey, we still do this shit, and I need you to know we ain't going no damn where. If that's the type of issue on. Then you have some that's like, okay, after this one show, I don't know, this is for me. This takes a lot of work out of motherfucker. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do this shit. Then, let that be that. But it always goes back into the integrity, the why. Is it something you really want to be able to do? Granted, you won't know if you don't try, if it's really for you or not. But I would think that there's some type of element within self, because there's something that you want to fulfill. That is something that is going to get people excited about it, because again, it's something that people need to see more of. You're going to want to be around for a while. Versus, oh, I just want to put on a show and just do this, da 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 da. If you want to do that, then just do a little regular ass kickback. Don't be sitting here wasting your time and folks' time on some bullshit that was supposed to be just for an intimate setting, when in actuality, you want it to be bigger than that. Okay? So take that with yourself. Really have a conversation with self to see how that feels for you. And then rinse and repeat. That's what I would say with that. I think that's gonna do it.
Yeah, I think you said it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because I've seen so many times where people got too much space between from the last show to the next show, and they're not posting a whole lot. And then right when that next show is coming up, now you see all these posts. And again, if you got it like that, you can, and then you can do that. Then please do that as such, But be prepared for what that looks like ultimately, in the longevity term.
That's hard.
So that is basically the tip of the iceberg of what we have for you guys for tonight. And typically we have a Q&A, but we already did a whole hour worth. But
literally, yeah.
But we will have an extended version that will actually be propelled into Jada's next podcast episode, okay, which is the Jaded and Faded Convos podcast, all right? And I'm going to let her to give you the insight on where you can subscribe for that, and how you can listen for it, and where you can find her ultimately. All right, so go ahead, Jada.
Welcome to the Jada and Faded Convos. I'm your host, Jada Pearl, and I got some shit to say, which is usually what I say. I'm on Spotify by that same name, as well as on YouTube. The next episode will post on this. Well, the next episode is going to post on Sunday. I got another one I got to do and finish editing.
That's
I'll get it up there soon. Mm-hmm. But the one pertaining to, of course, so you want to run a showcase? Bet. Let's talk about it. That one is going to be up by Sunday. That's going to go in way more in depth. Okay. Beyond the marketing, going, of course, into your why, going into looking for locations, your budgeting, auditioning and having people submit for a performance, the creativeness, like a whole shebang. Like, that thing might be a good hour and a half. I don't know. We're going to see. But it's definitely going to go into details that I have run into when it comes to curating, the things I've had to learn watching other people, from a perspective of where I've had to be behind the scenes of other people's showcases and how I've been able to work on them on my own behind the scenes, and then what it looks like on the forefront, so that everything is hopefully a success from the beginning and all the way to the end, and then after that. So it takes a lot. And I definitely will go into more detail with that. So YouTube and Spotify are definitely the two places to be able to either listen or watch me talk. So, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much for coming on with me tonight. Because I've talked about this before in different ways, but I think having somebody like yourself specifically who is consistently creating and putting out shows, and not just locally, like you're really doing them across the country, right? And how much work that really takes. I feel like from mostly what I've been seeing lately from other places, I need somebody to come in and break it down to give that insight, because I don't think everybody knows. And if they don't know right now, it goes back to sometimes you don't have to spend the whole 10 years, 100 years to figure out something, when you can really kind of get the information from somebody that's been doing it for a while, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like with yourself, you giving that type of insight is beneficial. I feel like a lot of people here have been definitely benefiting from hearing from what you had to say. So
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even for me, like I'm just in year 3. It's still a lot of trial and errors that I'm going through as we speak. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about me, one, still being teachable, just as well as me being a student. I'm a teacher, but I'm also a student. You understand? So therefore,
Yeah.
I'm still going to be a student even while I'm an event curator because I still have something that I don't know that I need to learn eventually in order to continue being successful as I desire to be. So I'm gonna keep learning so I can continue giving out a great experience to people because that's my shit. So yeah.
Yeah. We appreciate it. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. And thank you for everybody else that also came in tonight. The fact that y'all stayed and watched this whole hour live is amazing. So
We
we
thank you.
appreciate it. Yes, we
Yeah.
do. And I'm trying my best to do a recap situation. I am like backed up on lives, but we're gonna make it do what it do. So without further ado, if you are not already on my page, make sure that you follow, subscribe on YouTube, but follow here, okay? Because I do these on Mondays. I do have marketing conversations on a variety of topics, so definitely make sure that you are tapped into that. And of course, make sure that you are following Miss Jada LaPearl on all of her platforms. If you are on IG, that will be Flow with Pearl Lush, and that will also be Jaded and Faded Flows, as well as Lush Escapades Review. Okay. Now, without further ado, I'll let y'all be gone for the night, and I appreciate y'all. Appreciate the follow, Miss Cherry. It's great. Definitely looking forward to getting to know more about you as well and what you do. And everybody else that came in, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all, and I will see you guys on the next one.
Boy.